I think this VW Scoot game last night was pretty flippin' phenomenal. I'm taking Scoot Henderson. I am not going to come off of that. I think that, one, you're 7'5", 200 pounds, Victor Wembanyama. I think you are an injury waiting to happen, and I think, frankly, your physical frame, in my opinion, is not built for the NBA, and that he's going to have to be 230, 240, and it's got to all be muscle. And he's probably going to have a transformation on the line of a Giannis Antetokounmpo to get to where he needs to be, in my opinion, to be competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, the thing is, again, not to hate on French players, but every French player in the league that I know is soft. Like, I look at, Evan Fournier, great example. Evan Fournier is a productive guard in the league, but he's not a number one. He's a role player in a starting five. And I think that I look at Rudy Gobert, I look at any number of guys who have come out of France, and I just say, we know what this product is. We know that they're big, long, lanky guys who are built for the Euro game and not built for the NBA. So this wouldn't be like if I said to you, hey, VW is going to be drafted 15th overall. I wouldn't have a problem taking him at 15. Not a problem at all. Because I think at 15, it's elite value. But at number 1, it's not elite value because of the injury risk. And I know, Giannis made the transformation look easy. He made, building his frame out. And I don't even know how much Giannis weighs now, but he's got to be in that 240 neighborhood somewhere at least. Getting to that level of muscle and build on a 7'5" frame, good luck with that, man. That is difficult to do.
Yeah, I think Scoot Henderson brings everything you want.
Yeah.
And I look at Scoot, and I look at the profile, and I look at everything that he brings to the yard, dude, and I love his game. I love that he has that step back. I love that he can shoot three. I love he has a pull-up game, mid-range, which I think is now vital for any guard in this league. I love he plays fast. I like that he dimes. I just like the way the guy plays.
Yeah.
And I think he is your prototypical NBA young. He projects to be a superstar. He's everything you want. And even though they just traded Donnie, I've got to believe that the Jazz are out looking for that next franchise-level star. And I think you're going to have a much more difficult time finding a better prospect than Scoot Henderson to be that guy. I think he is a franchise guy. And his attitude, his demeanor, the way he carries himself, the intensity and the fire he plays with. Like Victor Wembanyama, was asked about him and Scoot, and he said, I think if I was never born, Scoot would be justifiably the number one player in the draft. And it's like, okay, well, now you're just a dick about it.
Yeah.
I just don't like that. I'm a big believer in being humble. I'm a big believer in having humility. And VW doesn't have that because he's never had to play up.
Yes.
He's not playing against guys that are bigger and stronger and better. He's not doing what LaMelo Ball did and going to Lithuania and playing against men. He's playing against boys. He's playing against guys he should dominate. He's playing against like talent. You never find out until who a guy is until he plays against bigger, badder men.
Yes.
And we haven't seen that
guys
in VW yet.
Guys who are capable of actually beating him.
We haven't seen it. And I love that everybody got all fired up about that block he had on Scoot. It was a foul. Even the guys on the broadcast talked about it last night.
Yeah.
He just does not have the physical attributes at this point in his life to play at the NBA level. I don't think he's NBA ready. I think Scoot Henderson is NBA ready right now. And when I say that, I don't mean he's going to, be the best guard in the league. But he's a guy that could go out there and contribute right now.
Yeah.
Because he can shoot the three and he's got a phenomenal eye for passing.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that is worth as much as any attribute that any guard in the league has right now.
Do you think he's ever better than, let's say, a Darius Garland?
I do.
At Darius Garland's stage right now.
I do. I think that Scoot Henderson, because of his ability to play different positions and play at different sizes, I think Scoot Henderson can be a top 5 guard in the NBA. I think when you look at it, you look at the Donovan Mitchells, he can absolutely be Don and better. There's no doubt in my mind he can be a better player than Donovan Mitchell is.
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt about it. He's got to mature. He's got to stay healthy, all the things that you got to do.
Right, of course.
But he clearly, the other thing about Scoot that I think is so impressive, he's doing this in the G League, and he's doing this in an atmosphere where, and he's openly talked about this, where he knew he was sacrificing, yet he put himself with the G League Ignite because he wanted a place where he could grow, develop, and make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And he said last night, the G League Ignite is the perfect situation for me and my family. He understands it. He gets it. He knows the game. He knows the process. So he didn't go to college because in college, you don't necessarily get tested.
Yeah.
In college, you don't go up against guys that are bigger and badder than you. There's a ceiling on it. In the Ignite, it's guys pushing and fighting for a paycheck. You can't replicate that. And Scoot Henderson embracing that and understanding that's what he's there to do, to me, that says everything you need to know. It's my argument with Dante Exum. And I know everybody at the time told me I was an a-hole for it.
Yeah, casual.
I'm telling you right now, Dante Exum's failings were that he never had to compete. Dante Exum was handed everything he was given right up into the NBA draft. And then when he showed up in Salt Lake City to compete for a roster spot, he wasn't capable mentally or physically. That's who Victor Wembanyama reminds me of. A guy who's never been tested, who's never had to fight for his position because he's 7'5", 200 pounds. He's going to be our starting guy. He's going to be our best. He's French. Great. Parlez-vous français, MFer. Now you got to do it in the NBA. And I don't know that he's scalable to do that. I think he is a minimum 3 years away from being an NBA star. If that. To be a contributor, he's 2 years away.
Yeah. I think the Kristaps Porzingis comparison I like a lot. Although I will say I think Victor's got a lot more in his bag than Kristaps had coming to the league. Just from a handle perspective, he can shoot it. Like, he has the thing that people get excited about with VW, and I understand this completely. They get excited about the fact that he has the finesse side of his game on lock already. He can shoot the three. He's got a baseline fadeaway. He's got a mid. Like, he's got the scoring attributes. My problem is that typically I would say, okay, if a guy has shown me that already, then yeah, he's going to project to be an NBA star. Here's what I don't like. I don't like that he's doing that against people who are half his size. That's my problem. I want to know what it looks like when he's got a 275-pound 7-footer in front of him who can body him and who can put him on the floor if he wants to. That's what my problem is. Last night is another example. He's shooting over guys that never have a chance to block it. And I get it. Like, that's part of his game, but I don't know, man. I'm not willing to take risks in the draft. And everyone's going to say, well, like all the analysts will be like, oh, well, he's about as risk-free as you can get. And I disagree. Whether it's an injury thing, whether it's what you were talking about where he's never been tested, he's always been the best guy on his team, and he thinks that he's the Jesus Christ of basketball or whatever the French Jesus Christ is, like
French Jesus
like when you
Christ.
think that you're the best to ever do it and you've never done it against anybody who's better than you, that to me is an issue. You're coming to the best league in the world and you think that you're going to be like the best right out of the gate, and that's not going to happen. Whether I look at guys like Kat, I look at Jokic, I look at Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid will dominate him. There will be no stopping those guys for VW. So that's my problem, and that's why I go with Scoot.
Yeah, I think in my mind, you look at this graphic that's up there now. I think everybody's overlooking Nick Smith. There's no doubt about that. I don't think there's any chance in the world, and I could be wrong about this, I don't think there's any chance in the world that VW doesn't go number one. Unless he gets hurt or something changes or Victor Wembanyama is going to be the number one pick, I think Scoot goes 2, and I think Nick Smith goes 3. And I that's probably how I would do it.
But like, even Nick Smith is a great example. A guy playing in the SEC, like he's playing, at least he's playing big-time college basketball. At least he's playing against guys that are NBA talents. Can we honestly say that VW has played against, most of the guys he's played against are NBA talents? Like guys who could be in the league? Because I can't confidently say that. We know for a fact that overseas basketball is not as close to what the NBA provides. And I don't care what Giannis has to say about that. The NBA is the best league in the world, bar none. Best talent, most skilled guys, most physical league for sure. Like, there's no doubt about that. So to me, I just don't know how like scouts and GMs and front offices overlook the fact that he's never played against anyone who's as good as him. That to me is crazy.
Well, because I just don't think they care. I mean, I don't think, and this could just be me. I don't think people look at that. I don't think people care. I think everybody believes that they can turn guys into superstars. And I'm telling you now that I just don't see. I don't know why wouldn't. What is it about? What is it about a guy like a Scoot Henderson that scares you even? Like, there's nothing really about Scoot that scares me.
To me, physically, Scoot's fine. He's a guy where I'm like, yeah, there are going to be little portions of his game that he's going to want to improve on. I'm sure he's going to want to work on his shooting percentage. I'm sure that, he's going to want to work on, like when he gets drafted, things that Scoot Henderson is going to have to work on are things like understanding the offense he's stepping into, or what his best shots are on the floor, his spots. And he already knows that, obviously. But like at the NBA level, at NBA speed, what are my spots? Where do I want to get to? What are the guys I'm playing with? Like NBA tactics, X's and O's. He's not going to have to worry about his body nearly as much. But like for VW, it's very simple. You're going to have to get stronger, man. And what terrifies me is the Houston Rockets type team that just runs up and down, and VW's never going to keep up in that game. VW's going to be trailing the play every single time. And it's like, what good are you if you're not in the play?
Yeah, look, he's a wonderfully talented guy. I don't know, man. I just don't see when you're out trying to make all that money and you're 7'5", 200 pounds, man. You better have a backup plan, to backstop your life, which is why you go to TriDayTrading.com/Monty, because it's a great side hustle and
that was well done, sir.
A backup plan.
That was really well done.
TriDayTrading.com/Monty. Do you know what day trading is? How many side hustles have you tried? How many times have you been like, oh, let me shovel driveways, let me deliver newspapers, let me wash windows, let me do X, Y, and Z, let me do Amazon, let me do your mom? Like, how many times have you said, I am going to do this as a side hustle, it's going to be amazing. You get a week into it and you give up on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about. At TriDay Trading, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Day trading is a legitimate revenue-generating side hustle that can scale into your full-time gig. And I continue to tell you that there's no obligation. All you need to do is go to TriDayTrading.com/Monty and watch the video, because I think what you will see very quickly is that when you go to TriDayTrading.com/Monty, you register for the webinar, you watch it, you're going to know right away. As soon as that webinar ends, you're going to know right away, hey, this is for me, it's not for me. Okay, I'm going to move on. It's that simple. There's no obligation. There's no cost. And if you don't believe me, take the word of Alema Harrington.
Alema Harrington here. I've been in the broadcast business going on 30 years now. And after that amount of time, you start to be able to pick some winners. I want to share a winner that I'm aware of with you, and that is my guys at TriDay Trading. They're going to teach you how to trade, and then they're going to let you trade using their money and then split the profits with you. That's a pretty winning deal. If you want to register for a free webinar, all you have to do is go to TriDayTrading.com/Monty. So for more information, it's TriDayTrading.com/Monty. We'll see you there.
There you go, Alema Harrington. You don't take my word, take Alema's word, but don't do nothing. Go to TriDayTrading.com/Monty. I just have talked to so many of our listeners who've done it now, and who are excited about TriDay Trading, and it because you'll realize right away that their case studies, their students, the people that have gone through their program rave about them. And the best part is you don't risk your own money when you start trading. TriDay Trading gives you their money. That's how you learn to trade, with their money. And when you profit off of their money, they give you 50% of that profit. So it's just a great program.
And then when you're ready to use your money, you can.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the beauty. Like, how many times, this is the question I always pose. How many times in life are you given an opportunity where there's no legit, not sugar-coated, 100% facts, no risk to you to look into it and to work with them?